For today's video, we're going to be reviewing and trying out the new Too Faced Better Than Chocolate eyeshadow palette. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you love makeup as much as I do, then you're in the right place. My name is Kara, and I test new products so you don't have to. Hopefully you stick around and make sure you subscribe if you like seeing new products tested before purchasing them. And make sure to click the notification bell to get notified when I upload videos. Too Faced released yet another palette. I don't know if this is going to be their seasonal like fall palette, but they did release their Better Than Chocolate palette. Too Faced palettes are normally hit or miss. They're either really great or they're a fail. I have only tried two other Too Faced palette. Their Peach palette, I forget, Sweetest Peach I think it was called, and their Cinnamon Swirl palette. To me, my opinion, the Sweetest Peach or the Peach palette I did not like at all. I mean, to me, it was awful. The Cinnamon Swirl palette wasn't so bad. So I have high hopes for this one. I'm really hoping that this is a win. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to swatch the palette, we're going to do an eyeshadow look, and then at the end of the video, I will tell you my thoughts, but I'm also going to do some comparisons with the Cinnamon Swirl palette. We'll do some comparison swatches. So I will timestamp everything down in the description box, so if you're only interested in certain things, you can go see when the timestamp is and just fast forward to that point. Now, I also did pick up the new Too Faced Shadow Insurance. This is apparently like an upgraded version of the old Shadow Insurance. I did pick that up, which I will be using today. You can get this on Too Faced website and I think at Ulta for $26. So here is the packaging for the palette. I really like this packaging. It does have all the shades down the side of the box, and then on the front, this part is all raised, and I really like this. And then on the back, you do have your ingredients, which it is very, very small. But if you need to, you can pause to read. So the palette goes for $54. I'm going to read to you what it says on the box. It says, indulge in an eyeshadow palette so deliciously exotic, buttery rich, and stylish. Seductive. It'll have you falling in love at first bite. This cocoa powder infused palette features 18 ultra creamy, rich, and chocolatey shades and pops of deliciously bold candy color. Velvety mattes, sugary shimmers, and melted metallics all work together in countless combinations to create the most natural, decadent looks you've ever experienced. So apparently this is a cocoa and powder infused palette. It's supposed to smell like molten chocolate cake. Haven't opened it yet, so I'm pretty excited. And then here is the actual palette. It's the normal tin type palette. This is all raised. Again, this is such a beautiful, I love the packaging on this. I really do. And then here is the back of the palette. Again, it has the information that I just read to you up here. And now for the inside. Does it smell like chocolate cake? It does. I mean, it smells chocolatey. I really like Too Faced palettes that they give a scent to them. I think that's very unique. You don't see that really much anywhere. But it's not about the smell. It's about the quality of the shadows. So on the inside, you do get a very nice mirror and then your 18 shades. So here's the inside of the palette. You get a lot of chocolatey type tones with a couple pops of color like the yellow, the blue, the green, and the purple. So I'm just going to show you real quick a side-by-side comparison of the Better Than Chocolate palette and the Cinnamon Swirl palette. So now this side is the Better Than Chocolate palette and this side is the Cinnamon Swirl palette. Pretty similar. So they're not the same, but they're similar. It seems like a common theme with Too Faced. They come out with very similar palettes, very neutral tone type palettes, and it looks like I dug my nail already in one of the shades, which is okay. So let me stop rambling and let's do some swatches. So we have Milk It, Buttercream, Gold Digger, Skinny Dipped, Ooey Gooey, Midnight Snack, Reality Chalk, Bitter Half, I'm the Dessert, Sugar Rush, Cake My Day, Bite Me, Lick the Bowl, Bless Your Tart, Nice Buns, What the Fudge, Brownie Points, Sext, and Candy. So here are all the swatches. I obviously could not fit them on one arm. I'm actually really surprised that these swatched actually really nicely. I didn't really notice any trouble with any of the shadows. So I'm very hopeful. So let me go do one eye off camera. I'll come back and we'll do the second eye together. All right, I am back. Here is the look I came up with. Let me zoom you in and we'll get started. Like I said, I was going to use the new Too Faced primer, which I did use on this eye, and I will say that I like this. I like the way it dries down. I don't need any powder to put on top of it. It dries down very nicely, and it's not as like the other Too Faced Shadow Insurance. It kind of feels like greasy a little bit. This one doesn't. This one's very smoothing and dries down very quickly. So first shade we're gonna start off with is Lick the Bowl. And then I'm going to start by just kind of putting that in the crease. I'm kind of using this as my transition shade. A little bit of buttercream on the same brush. Now, as usual, Too Faced shadows are a little bit powdery, so just make sure you tap off the excess. And then I am going to apply that just over top of that first shade.
No price, no need, no free.
Now I'm going to take a little bit of a smaller blending brush and I'm going to go into Cake My Day. And then I'm going to start putting that in my crease as well, but just lower than that first shade. I'm also putting that shade on the outer corner of my lid and blending it into the crease. Now I'm gonna go back to the first brush I used. I'm not putting any product on it, and I'm just gonna use that to blend over pretty much everything.
No price, no need, no free.
Now I'm going to take the shade Bitter Half and I'm going to put that just on the outer lid. The shade Buttercream, and I'm putting that on the lid where there's no shadow, where I'm going to put my shimmer shade.
No price, no price, no need.
So for this next part, you might need a setting spray because I did. You're going to go into Bless Your Tarte, apply it to the brush, and then spray it with some setting spray. Now I did try and go in with my finger with this shade, but there's no base to it and it just glitters. So putting it on top of another shadow and spraying it with setting spray helps bring the opacity to the shade, which I am putting all over the lid. Now I'm taking just a little bit more of Cake My Day and I'm just going right on top of that shimmer that I just put down. Now you will get a little bit of fallout, so I recommend either doing your face makeup after your eyeshadow, or just make sure you set your face so you can easily just wipe it away. Now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna go into the shade Gold Digger, and I'm putting that across the entire lower lash line. Then I'm taking just like a clean blending brush and just kind of blending that lower lash line. And then for my inner corner, I'm gonna go into the shade Milk It. And then I also put just a little bit, like right in the middle underneath my brow. And that's it. So let me go do liner and lashes, and when I come back, I will show you the final look. We'll talk about the palette, and then we'll do some comparisons with the Cinnamon Swirl palette. All right, I am back. Let me show you a close-up of the finished look. I actually really like the look. I think it came out really, really nicely. So let's do some comparison swatches of the new palette compared to the Cinnamon Swirl palette. I'm only gonna go through similar shades and we'll see how similar they really are. So in the new palette, the Better Than Chocolate palette, the Cake My Day looks very similar to, it's kind of hard with when these palettes don't stay open, to See Me Rolling. I'm gonna swatch them both for you because I can't hold them both up side by side. This one is Cake My Day, and this is See Me Rolling from the Cinnamon Swirl palette. Pretty similar, if not almost the same. Then from the chocolate palette, you have Lick the Bowl, and the Cinnamon Swirl palette Muffin Top, which obviously there is a difference there. And you have Brownie Points from the chocolate palette and Batter Up from the Cinnamon Swirl palette. The Batter Up seems just a little bit deeper. Now both palettes have like a purple in them, but I will show you that they both are fairly different. This is from the chocolate palette, and then this one is from the Cinnamon Swirl palette. Obviously, very big difference. You have Ooey Gooey from the new palette and Frost Those Buns in the other palette. There are some similarities, but not very many. If anything, like the undertone is different. But my thoughts on the Better Than Chocolate palette, I actually really like this palette. I love the look I came up with. I think this is a really good palette. It's a hit. Thank goodness it's not a miss. Like I said earlier, a lot of Too Faced palettes are either hit or miss, and this one is a good choice. $54 is quite a pretty penny, you know, but if you're wanting to try Too Faced, I think this is a really, really, really good option. I think Too Faced should come out with maybe something different when it comes to their eyeshadow palettes. Majority of them are generally the same, being a neutral palette with pops of color. I would like to see them come out with something a little bit different and out of their comfort zone. I think they would do a lot better. I'm not saying they don't do good or bad, but I think they would do a lot better stepping out of their comfort zone and coming out with a palette that's not like their other palettes. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will link everything down in the description box below. I will also have timestamps below for the swatches, comparisons, tutorials, everything. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you all again soon.